guys, and welcome to another episode of Fuck Your Fantasy Team. I'm Chase Almy, and I'm by myself tonight, actually. And flying solo, the Miss Brittany Mullis could not make it tonight. So I know we're going to be running a little late tonight, but here we go. And welcome to the show. It's the second show of the season, and a lot to cover in a short amount of time. I'm not going to keep everybody around for that long, but to kind of kick things off, coaching in the NFL, new coaches, horrible season this year. Started out real shitty with an 0-7 on the season 4 wins. Even Matt Patricia, a lot of people not very happy with that. One person that a lot of people are happy with is Sam Darnold for the Jets. Came back and made the Jets relevant against the Lions the other night. Just blew them out of the water. The defensive mind that is the rocket scientist that Matt Patricia typically is doesn't seem to be working anymore, and it's kind of gone downhill. So if you have the Lions as your defense, be ready for a really brutal year. Also, it looks like Josh Allen is going to be back in as quarterback for the Bills, which goes to prove to my friend Carl Safe that he is wrong yet again. Looked horrible Sunday. The Bills always have hope. That's one thing you can say about their fan base, kind of like Brittany does with the Browns, which the Browns were able to not lose a game. So that's always, a tie is somewhere to start and move forward. It should be an interesting week 2 for everybody. But as far as, let's get into the stat leaders. Ryan Fitzpatrick, if you didn't have him on your team and you could have picked him up in waivers, I bet you feel really, really stupid right now because that dude took off. Average points is about 42.3 points for most fantasy teams in the way that it's, your standard set of rules and scoring for fantasy sports. But 42.3, Drew Brees had 31.6, which was against him as well, it was a lights out offensive show that whole game. Phillip Rivers with 29 and Pat Mahomes 28.3. Pat Mahomes kicking off the new Mahomes era and showing them that Kansas City should stick around and be able to play this year. Aaron Rodgers, giving Tom Brady a run as the GOAT, comes back after being carted off and blows up the Bears, which everybody kind of knew was going to happen. That Bears and Packers rivalry is mainly a rivalry because of geography. Like, if there wasn't a geographical location like that, we wouldn't be talking about that game. The Bears suck. The Bears are always going to suck. They have a shit defense and offense. They have a shit front office. It's never going to really work. That sucks. But Tyrod Taylor, 23.6 points on average for fantasy owners this past week. Got a tie with the Steelers. And Joe Flacco with 21.7. Tom Brady with 21.3. Wasn't a lights out performance, even though that is my team. On the AFC side, it was pretty lackluster. Texans gave them a run for their money. Defense kind of shut down. Offensive power wasn't there like I was expecting it to be, but I figured it was going to be a close game anyways. But they've got an even tougher defense to play this next week with the Jags. And then Russell Wilson, 20.4. Kirk Cousins also right around there. Alex Smith, 19.6. Andrew Luck, 19.5. Cam Newton, 18.2. Pretty much dominated the Cowboys there until the second half, the third quarter, when they were able to score. The fourth quarter, they had some pushes, but their defense was able to shut them down. Not a stellar offensive performance by either team, and definitely not a stellar defensive performance by your Dallas Cowboys. If you're a fan of Drinking with the Boys, the old podcast that I had that's still going around, check it out if you are a fan of the Cowboys. But it's not looking so great for the Cowboys this year. It looks like they may have taken a step back. Sam Darnold, even though everybody's lights out with him, was only 13.8 average for teams for the quarterback position. But going on to it, New Orleans running back Alvin Kamara, 34.1, and James Conner for Pittsburgh, the fill-in for Le'Veon Bell, making it 29.2. Isaiah Crowell for New Jersey Jets had 22.2, and Joe Mixon for Cincinnati had 20.9, which they're playing right now. Adrian Peterson able to pull 20 20.6 out there in Washington. Todd Gurley with 20.7. And Jay Ajayi with 20.2. And Saquon Barkley, which everybody, has been on that 18.8 on the Barkley train there. And Chris Thompson for Washington had 18.8. So really good performance on the running back side there for the Redskins. Ezekiel Elliott had 14.6. And just kind of running through some of the names that people were looking for. James White, 11.6. Burkhead had 6.9. A lot of people thought he was going to be breakout. No, wasn't there. But moving on to wide receiver, Tyreek Hill had himself a day with 29.3 points average for fantasy owners for him this week. Kansas City showing that they are probably here to stay. And Deshaun Jackson for Tampa Bay, 26.6. And then just kind of scrolling through here, Randall Cobb had 20.2. Mike Evans for Tampa Bay had 20.7. Michael Thomas had 22 points. Julio Jones, 18 points. I know he's the one that people were kind of wondering about. Is he going to still kind of be around, kind of like a Fitzgerald out in Arizona? Is he going to be good? 18 points isn't bad. Beating beating Keenan Allen on the Chargers, 16.8. Antonio Brown had 15.3. He's a notable name. And A.J. Green for Cincinnati had 13.2. Philip Dorsett, 12.6. Not a lot known about him before the season, but pulling out 12 points there for you, not a bad one to have. Jarvis Landry, 10.6 for Cleveland, just kind of throwing that out there for Miss Brittany. And Jared Cook got the top points for most fantasy owners, around 18 points. Will Dissly, 16.5, and those are for the tight ends. Rob Gronkowski, a third, with 16.3. And it looks like Eric Ebron for Indianapolis, 11.1. There was a couple of other players that I was looking over just to kind of see if anything really happened for them there like they thought. Jeff Swaim, 1.8. They were talking about David Njoku for Cleveland being maybe a possible breakout for his second year. 1.3 didn't really look like that happened. So that is what happened this past week. So let's look at the weekly projections. Still got Drew Brees sitting up there at 20.3 this week as the top quarterback holder. Alex Smith at 19.1 with Cam Newton right there with him. Ben Roethlisberger at 18.3 and Tyrod Taylor at 18.1 and Russell Wilson 17.9. Pat Mahomes is a little low this week at 17.6 and Phillip Rivers right behind him at 17.4. Tom Brady down on the list at 17.1 with Matt Stafford at 17 points even. Aaron Rodgers 16.5 because you don't know if he's going to play. He rested. He did rehab on it. They're saying it's a knee sprain now. Be interesting to see kind of what happens on that front for everything. And then Alvin Kamara, 19 points, and Todd Gurley, 18.3. Ezekiel Elliott, 16.8 against the Giants this week is what is projected for the running backs. Melvin Gordon, 15.1. Saquon Barkley is at 14.8, and David Johnson for Arizona is 14.6. James Conner for Pittsburgh, they still have him at 14.1. Le'Veon Bell still has not reported yet, so it looks like he's still going to sit out a little bit longer and try to get that money. Adrian Peterson looking at 11 points this week. For wide receivers, though, going into it, it's going to be kind of interesting to see. Antonio Brown at 15.5 with Michael Thomas at 13.2. And Hopkins for Houston is going to be 12.8. Julio Jones is 12.7, and Odell Beckham, they're projecting 12.5 points with that rivalry of the Giants and the Cowboys. Tyreek Hill, 11.6. You can't expect him to have a game like he did last week every week, but those are the guys that are riding. A.J. Green, 11 points. We'll see at the end of the night how he shapes up to be. And then for your tight ends, we'll look at that real quick. Rob Gronkowski at 10.9. Travis Kelce and Zach Ertz at 9.4 apiece. Greg Olsen and Jordan Reed at 8.1. George Kittle at 7.7. And Trey Burton, 6.9. It looks like it's going to be a run-heavy offense this year for most people. It's going to be very, very different for your wide receivers and your tight ends with your flex. It might be smart to pick up, another running back play them in that flex position to kind of go off of with that. But that's going to basically sum up the fantasy side of things, kind of giving you guys some top projections to look for and to look into. Season, second week of the season, it's kind of hard to judge. A lot of things happened on this past week. I actually saw an interesting piece that NFL released talking about how this past week was. I was going to see if I can find that one more time. Basically carrying on about, it said 765 points were scored week one, an average of 47.8 per game. That ranks as the third highest in NFL history for kickoff weekend. There were 791 points scored in season openers in 2012 and 788 in 2002. 12 of the 18 games were in one-score games, so that's a third of the games. 12 of the 16 would be 3/4, 75% of the games were one score games. So, I mean, very, very good competitive football coming right out of the gates. It will start to taper off about week 3 or 4 once teams get into the groove of things and really start to, hone in on what they do and what they do best. 5 of the teams trailed in the fourth quarter, rallied to win or tie. So there's the Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals, Philadelphia, Denver, and Green Bay were all able to pull out wins or ties after being down. And 12 return touchdowns scored in week 1. 6 on interception returns were the second most since the 1970 merger. So they had 13 in 2011. So 6 pick sixes in the first week is kind of out there. So with saying picks, we're going to go into Chase's picks this week, and we'll see how that looks shaping up. So for the first game tonight, we have the Ravens and the Bengals. They're playing tonight, and I'm calling Bengals on this one. I think the Bengals have a way better shot of capitalizing on. Joe Flacco looked good. The defense looked okay. I just don't think the defense is going to be there against Cincinnati. As far as the Giants versus the Cowboys, sorry, but I'm going to have to go with the Cowboys. It's just how it is. That's where we're at with it. Panthers versus the Falcons. I'm going to go Panthers over the Falcons. Panthers seem to have a more cohesive group of people on the field at all times. They seem to have, they don't have a lights-out offense or lights-out defense, but they have consistency on both sides. Patriots and Jaguars, definitely going Patriots. I think it's going to be a tough game defensively for them, but they're always up for a challenge with it. I don't think that it's going to be something that we really need to worry about as far as for me. And then Colts versus the Redskins. I've got the Redskins. I think their offensive power, being able to run the ball, is going to go good against the Colts defense. And then the Texans versus the Titans. I would be stupid if I said the Titans because the Titans suck balls this year. Texans all the way on that one. I do have the Eagles over the Buccaneers. I think just experience and stuff like that. I think being able to come back from that will be very, very good. So I have that. And then for the Chiefs and Steelers, I do have the Chiefs over the Steelers. The Pat Mahomes era looked really, really good. It was an offensive performance that was incredible by them last week. I'm going to say that. And then it is the damn Jets. I'm going with Sam Darnold, going to be able to ride this one out and take charge. And I have an upset for the Chargers versus the Bills this week. I think with the Bills benching their quarterback and bringing back Josh Allen, I think that things should turn around and we should see improvement on that side. As far as the Vikings versus the Packers, I'm picking this with the idea that Aaron Rodgers will play, and I will say that the Packers are going to win. And for the Saints and Browns, would love to see the Browns win just for Brittany, but I'm going to have to go with the Saints with Drew Brees and the offensive performance they had last week. That will carry over. I think the Lions will be able to pull something out against the 49ers, maybe. That's kind of my upset for the week that I have. And I have the Rams over the Cardinals, the Broncos over the Raiders, and then I have the Seahawks over the Bears, which is the Monday night game. So here is a look at all of my picks that you guys can kind of look at and see where you guys match up with it. This is just going based off of how I'm feeling for the day and what I was looking at as far as offensive and defensive plays this past week. So that's going to wrap up the show, guys. I don't have a lot because I don't have anybody to talk to this week because my friend Brittany is too busy and left me hanging. And I sat here sad and had to record this. But keep checking us out. All of our names are the same on all the Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's FUR Fantasy Team. All of them are that way. Check it out. Watch us on YouTube, Facebook Watch. We're usually up on YouTube first, then Facebook Watch. It comes on about an hour after we release there and it premieres. So definitely check us out. And until next time, guys, fucking up your fantasy team because that's what helps this show. It's fuck your fantasy team. It's kind of about fantasy. It's more about news and sports and us talking and bullshitting. And sorry that our second show was not as great, but second release is stereotypically worse than the first if you look at bands, but shouldn't be that way with sports shows. So definitely like, share, comment below, and keep it going. Show us your fantasy team, show us what you're doing, and keep track of the picks with us this week. So until next time, we'll see you later. I'm Chase Almy.